Imagine that you have just finished a class in a part of town you do not know very well. You step outside, look down the street, and realize that you need to find the cinema. Your phone battery is almost empty, so you cannot depend on a map for very long. You need to ask someone for help, understand the answer, and follow the route carefully. You walk up to a friendly person and say, "Excuse me, can you tell me how to get to the cinema?" That is one of the most natural ways to ask for directions. You can also say, "Excuse me, could you give me directions to the cinema?" Notice that directions is usually plural in this expression. We normally say, "Can you give me directions?" rather than "Can you give me direction?" The person looks down the road and begins, "Go straight until you reach the first intersection. Turn right, go past the park, and continue to the supermarket. The cinema is next to the supermarket, across from the bank." That short answer contains almost everything we need for clear directions. It begins with a movement, adds a stopping point, gives a turn, uses a landmark, and finishes by explaining the exact location of the destination. Let us walk through the route slowly. First, go straight. To go straight means to continue forward without turning left or right. You may also hear "go straight on," especially in British English. In everyday American English, "go straight" or "continue straight" is very common. The person said, "Go straight until you reach the first intersection." Here is an important correction. We say "reach the intersection," not "reach to the intersection." Reach is followed directly by the place. You reach the bank, you reach the corner, you reach the station. There is no to after reach. However, get works differently. We say get to the intersection, get to the bank, or get to the station. Both patterns are correct, but they have different structures. Reach the intersection, get to the intersection. You can also say arrive at the intersection, although arrive sounds a little more formal in simple street directions. A basic sentence is go to the intersection. A clearer sentence is go straight until you reach the intersection. A more detailed sentence is continue straight for 1 block until you reach the 4-way intersection beside the park. Each version is correct, but the final version gives the listener a movement, a distance, a stopping point, and a landmark. Now think about the word intersection. An intersection is a place where roads meet. If 3 roads meet, you can call it a 3-way intersection. Sometimes it forms the shape of the letter T, so it may also be called a T-junction. Junction is especially common in British English, but American speakers understand it. If 4 roads meet, it is a 4-way intersection. You may also hear the word crossroads. We do not normally call a 3-way road a triangle or a 4-way road a square just because of the number of directions. Triangle and square describe shapes. For clear street directions, 3-way intersection and 4-way intersection are more accurate. When you reach the intersection, turn right. Turn tells you to change direction. Turn right means move toward the road on your right-hand side. Turn left means move toward the road on your left-hand side. When the listener may be confused, add the landmark. Say, turn right at the bank or turn left at the traffic lights. The preposition at shows the point where the turn happens. Compare these instructions. Turn right. This may be enough if there is only one possible road. Turn right at the intersection. This is clearer. Turn right at the first intersection after the school. This is even more useful because it identifies exactly which intersection you mean. After turning right, go past the park. To go past a place means to move beyond it without stopping there. If the park is on your right, you see it, move alongside it, and then leave it behind you. You do not enter the park, you pass it. Go past and pass are closely related. You can say go past the bank or pass the bank and turn left. In street directions, go past the bank often sounds slightly clearer because it directly describes the movement. Next, continue to the supermarket. Continue means keep moving in the same direction. A helpful direction might be continue straight for about 2 minutes. Another might be continue along Market Street until you see the supermarket on your left. The phrase "until you see" gives the listener a visible stopping point. Landmarks make directions much easier to follow. A landmark is an easy-to-recognize place or object that helps someone know where they are. A bank, park, school, bridge, traffic light, large store, or bus stop can be a landmark. Instead of giving a long distance with no support, connect the route to something visible. For example, walk for 200 meters may be difficult for someone to judge. Walk past the park and stop at the supermarket is often easier because the person can look for the park and supermarket. Now we have reached the supermarket. Again, notice the grammar. We reached the supermarket. We did not reach to the supermarket. If you prefer get, say, we got to the supermarket. The cinema is next to the supermarket. Next to means immediately beside another place. If there is very little or no space between the two buildings, next to is a good choice. Near is less exact. If the cinema is near the supermarket, it is close, but it may not be directly beside it. The cinema is also across from the bank. Across from is very natural in American English. It means that the cinema and the bank are on opposite sides of the street. You can also say the cinema is opposite the bank. In American conversation, across from is often the more natural choice. Usually we do not need to say opposite to in this location pattern. Say the park is opposite the hospital, or the park is across from the hospital. Between describes a place in the middle of two other places. For example, the café is between the bank and the cinema. A complete location sentence often follows this pattern: the place, the verb is, and the location phrase. The library is next to the supermarket. The hospital is across from the park. The café is between the bank and the cinema. At last, you arrive at the cinema. You thank the person and look back at the route. You went straight, reached an intersection, turned right, went past a park, continued to a supermarket, and found the cinema next to it. The directions worked because each step was connected to the next one. Now imagine that you are the person giving directions. One-word answers such as right, straight, and left are useful, but they are not a complete route. A listener needs to know when to turn, how far to continue, and what to look for. A basic answer is go right, go straight, the cinema is there. A better answer is turn right and go straight to the cinema. A clear, natural answer is turn right at the first intersection, go past the park, and continue until you see the supermarket. The cinema is next to the supermarket, across from the bank. This sentence is longer, but it is easy to follow because it uses a logical order: first movement, landmark, next action, final location. Sequencing words can make a longer route even clearer. Begin with first, continue with then, next, and after that. Finish with finally. For example, first go straight to the four-way intersection, then turn left. Next, walk past the library. After that, cross the street. Finally, you will see the café on your right. Cross the street means move from one side of the street to the other. Be careful not to confuse cross with across from. Cross is an action. Cross the street at the traffic lights. Across from describes a location. The café is across from the library. You can also use on your left and on your right. These phrases describe where the person will see something while facing the direction of travel. The park will be on your left. You will see the bus stop on your right. This is more helpful than simply saying you will see the park, because the listener knows which side to watch. Good directions also avoid unnecessary details. You do not need to describe every building, every corner, and every possible route. Choose the simplest, safe route. Give one instruction at a time and use 2 or 3 strong landmarks. Imagine that a visitor wants to go from the school to the library. You might say, leave the school and turn left. Continue straight until you reach the traffic lights. Cross the street, go past the bank, and turn right at the next intersection. The library is on your left, between the café and the supermarket. If the visitor looks uncertain, check their understanding naturally. You can say, did you get that? Or would you like me to show you on the map? You can also repeat only the most important part. Just remember, left at the traffic lights, then right after the bank. When you receive directions, short confirmation phrases help. You can say, so I go straight and turn right at the bank. The other person can confirm or correct you. You can also say, is it far from here? How long does it take on foot? Or can I get there by bus? The answer might be, it takes about 10 minutes on foot. Notice the useful pattern, it takes plus an amount of time. It takes 10 minutes. It takes about half an hour by bus. It takes me 20 minutes to get to school. Now listen to a complete real-life exchange described by one narrator. I'm standing outside the school and I need to find the café. I ask a passerby how to get there. The passerby tells me to go straight until I reach the first four-way intersection. I turn left at the traffic lights and continue past the park. When I get to the bank, I cross the street. The café is between the cinema and the library across from the hospital. I follow the instructions, recognize each landmark, and arrive without getting lost. Here is a final listening challenge. Picture a small town as you listen. You are standing at the supermarket. The park is next to the supermarket. The hospital is across from the park. The library is beside the hospital. You leave the supermarket, walk past the park, cross the street, and stop at the building beside the hospital. Where did you arrive? You arrived at the library. The key clues were across from the park and beside the hospital. You crossed from the park's side of the street to the hospital's side, then stopped at the neighboring building. The next time you give directions, remember the simple structure. Start with the first movement. Name a landmark or intersection, add the next turn, finish with the destination's exact location. Say, reach the intersection or get to the intersection. Use three-way intersection and four-way intersection for roads. Use next to, between, near, and across from to locate the destination. Clear directions are not about using difficult words. They are about putting useful details in the right order.